this computer, and we are recording.
Okay, beautiful. Hello, everybody. I am Camille Leon, founder of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and we are here on our monthly, gosh, I really don't know what to call it. Like, I can't call it telecall because we're doing it via Zoom video webinar. Anyways, our HCC monthly get-together. That's what I'll call it. From vision boring to vision boarding, that's to quote our guest, Daniel Olexa. We are gonna be talking about closing out 2019 and opening into a powerful 2020. So let me start by saying thank you so much for being here, especially those of you who are live and also those of you who are watching the recording. We're really glad to have you involved with our cause and our community. And now let me tell you about our guest and why I selected Daniel to be our guest on this particular topic. We were in our Facebook members only group, and I just put a little post out there. What's your favorite digital vision board app? I was thinking, you know, is there an app for that? And we got all kinds of input like, oh, what a great idea. I don't know, following, blah, blah, blah. And then Daniel said, oh, I do something around digital vision boards. And so I said, oh, well, let's do that for our next monthly get-together topic, and let's have you share some of your insights. So we'll really be talking about visioning, and in the middle of all that, Daniel's going to include some of his ideas, insights, and even how-tos. And he'll, of course, have a gift to share with us at the end. There are some other reasons why I chose Daniel. He is Los Angeles South Bay's best hypnotherapist, as voted by the readers of The Daily Breeze. He is the creator of the Amazon bestseller, My 2-Minute Journal. He is the co-author of a few other Amazon #1 bestsellers. One, Practical Manifesting, Overcome Fear, Realize Truth, and Create the Life You Were Meant to Live. And 2, A Pessimist's Guide to Manifesting. Who, me? A pessimist? Really? Maybe a little bit. He is also the president of the Long Beach chapter of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and he has been recognized by feedspot.com as one of the top 100 hypnosis blogs. So just Daniel has a lot going on, and I'm pleased as punch to have you here today. Daniel, is there anything you want to add before I jump on into the interview section?
I am happy and excited to be here, and I'm really just want to get this information out for people so that everybody can start enjoying this, a new way of looking at vision boarding. If you enjoy the old way of going through magazines and you want to stay that, you certainly may. But if you want to take the limits off, there's only one limitation in doing it this way, and that doesn't even have to be a limitation. So enjoy, just be open to the process. It is a little different, but it works so wonderfully.
Well, okay, so first I'm going to start with show and tell. In late 2019, I did a vision mandala with Daniel Gutierrez, who is one of our other members. And it's kind of cool. I like it. It's round, you know, and at the same time, I can't carry it around with me. A digital vision board I can put on my phone or put on my laptop or my desktop. I can carry it with me. I'm not sure about storing this somewhere, like it's gonna go get hidden away. Whereas if I do something digital, right, then it's easy to store them all together and go back and look at which parts of my vision really did I realize from previous years. So I think there are a couple of real advantages to shifting from the, we'll just call it the old school style, right, to something that's a little more digital that we can carry around with us or check in on a little more regularly. And it still all ties back to the vision from here, right? The vision that we see in our mind's eye. So even as I ask you, what's your vision for 2020? I'm going to share with everybody here, my vision for 2020 is just that the Holistic Chamber of Commerce continue to pop and pop and pop and keep expanding. I know that there is some amount of power in numbers. Now, I think it's not just quantity. Quality also is important for a professional organization like ours. And at the same time, the bigger our numbers, the stronger our voice out in the rest of the world. People pay attention to large organizations like Rotary and Toastmasters and even the American Medical Association. And I would like our cause and our community and our members to get attention just because we're getting bigger and bigger. And that also allows us to get better and better. So that's my vision for 2020. And I will be traveling more and I will be speaking more. What about you, Daniel?
My vision for 2020, really, I started stepping into and developing in June in conversation with Mr. Gutierrez, of all people. At that point in time, I realized I had outgrown my pond. I had now become a big fish in a small pond, and it was time to go into the next thing. And we had a pretty long conversation of what does that mean. And I realized that it was time for me to get out and really be seen and start stepping into an international global space, which led to the development of the 2 retreats I'm doing in Peru next year at his center. 2020 for me is all going to be about being visible and really stepping into what I call the rock star energy, being on stage and being seen and really owning it like Roger Daltrey used to own the stage on The Who. I just really dated myself there. Oh my God.
It's okay. We're all about love here, no judgment. So for everybody, watching, consider your vision. What's your vision? What does bigger and better mean to you? Hopefully it doesn't mean bigger hips. Certainly when I say that, that's not what I'm talking about. But we all define success in our own ways. Not everybody wants to travel. Some people's success is having a lovely home and they can really do everything they want and need to do from home. And for others, it really is getting out in public. So again, what's your vision for your success, guys? And the other thing I would really, by the way, this isn't entirely about vision, but your vision, Daniel, is a lot about evolution, right? Like it's allowing your presence to change, allowing your position in your business and in the world to change, instead of waking up every single day and it's always the same routine. Things have to start shifting. I think for me, that's one of the challenges of evolution is, I can't do things the same way I did them yesterday, which is, again, part of what we're getting back to is even though the old school vision boards do still work and have worked for a long time, maybe it is also time for us to evolve our vision boards. So, yeah.
And the thing, and as you mentioned, like mine's about evolution and how everybody's is going to be different. Sometimes the vision board might just be about creating gratitude in the moment, which is the foundation for that move. We can come into, I want things to be different, and that space of I want things to shift from an attitude of gratitude, not to meet that rhyme, but or I can come at it from an attitude of lack of, I really wish I was XYZ because I don't have whatever components are missing in my life. And that's truly an attitude of lack, which is where the book title Pessimist Guide came from. People come to the universal laws from an attitude of lack and being out of sync with them. But gratitude becomes the first place. And gratitude is not complacency. Just because I have gratitude for where I am doesn't mean I stop there. It means I'm looking back to this abundant, wonderful universe saying, thank you for everything that has gotten me to this place, and I'm ready for more. But if I'm struggling and say there's not enough yet, think about the grand universe, whether you want to call it God. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into that, but
No.
whatever your word is for that abundant giving place of source, think of it as a parent. And if a child comes to an adult comes to a parent, or a parent comes to a child and says, here's $5. It's time for you to learn how to be good with money and learn how to manage money. And the kid looks back and says, $5, Billy's mom gives him 20, not showing gratitude for the receipt of the money. What's the parent do? Like, well, okay, fine, you're not getting anything. And he takes it away. But if that child says, oh, thank you so much for that gift of $5, not judging it against everybody else, but in that moment, they are now $5 richer than they were 30 seconds earlier. Maybe it was just a light week. Maybe that was a test. And the following week or the following month, then 20 suddenly comes on the table. But if we don't accept gratitude from it, that place of gratitude, if we don't accept, we're shutting down the flow from the universe. So gratitude is absolutely baseline and opens us up to more. I forget, there's like 3 books I'm reading right now, and there was this great little quote at the beginning of one of them, and along this line, and I think it comes out of the Jewish religion because the author is Jewish, and she uses this quote of, if you say to God, oh, life is miserable and life is terrible, God looks back and says, really? You ain't seen nothing yet. If you look at God and say, thank you so much for all this wonderful abundance you've brought to my life, God will look back and say, really? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, I like that. That is so cool. I think I'm going to kind of adopt that. Okay, so in terms of vision boarding, this might actually, so that might have actually answered my next question a little bit. So lots of times people, myself, have a theme or a focus, like a word for each year. By the way, for any of you who might wonder what my word is for next year, I haven't made up my mind yet. Is it passion? Is it community? Is it expansion? Is it, I don't know. There are just so many possibilities when you are boiling something down to just a key word or a key phrase. But Daniel, do you typically do that or not?
This year I am. This is the first year I've really focused into it. In prior years, it's been about a large picture. And this year, the energetic very much is the word rock star. And it's amazing how it's popped up since.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. And it's a positive focus that just really calls in the energy of what you want. So what are you doing that's new to kick off the new year?
First off, I've already signed up to do those two retreats, which are all about being seen, and also going into doing some personal work for myself that I've never looked at doing before. Doing a soul alignment on Thursday, which opening up the energy and into the connection. I'm finding, since really stepping into this path, things have come onto my radar that haven't been there before. And it's all about reconnecting back to soul purpose coming into this incarnation. So I'm really aligning into what am I here to do in this lifetime, and giving this is the big part of it. It's probably true for a lot of people in listening to this recording, right? Giving yourself permission to be seen and accept the abundance back. Accept the reward. You are giving. It's time to receive as well.
I have really shifted some of the words I use. You know, there was a long time when the phrase that occupied my mind was give and take. And now it's give and receive, which is much more of a flowing cycle I remember in the old days, and I have actually still seen some holistic types do this, when somebody said, "Oh, I love what you have to offer." And the response was really, "Oh, here, let me give it to you." Like, it was an automatic response of freebie, as opposed to the, "Oh, that's great, I have 3 packages," or "I have, one, here's my favorite, most popular product, and here are the prices." And like, if we're turning away money, then we're turning away money.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, Whole Foods is not turning away money.
No, they are not.
And they're able to expand. Like, money is a neutral, and when we receive it, we get to reinvest it or re-give it in whatever way. Paying a professional who does a soul alignment journey, for example, or a hypnotherapist who can help work with our subconscious thinking. So I love that you've got some ideas already that you're putting in place, and treatments or techniques that you're going to play with in the next few weeks. Is there anything from 2019 that you are still wrapping up, so that as you enter in on January 1st, you're kind of out with the old, in with the new?
Yeah. The big one then, if we get to the point of sharing the 2 prior vision boards that I created with this method, the big one that I would love to say that I'm wrapping up because it's been on the vision board for 2 years, but I'm really carrying it in, is getting in shape. Is I have let that, as I focused everywhere else in my business, I haven't focused on my physical well-being and health as much. So that is part of the next vision board to really get me connected. And it's funny, is now that we're getting down to the last 4 weeks, I've gotten more serious about it. And that's something else that goes into vision boarding. An old boss of mine many, many, many years ago had a line that I think comes from John Deming and the whole idea of ISO 9000 quality management, that work will expand to fill the time allocated to it. So when you set that goal, if you set it for the end of the year, you'll probably wait until, particularly if it's about getting in shape, you'll probably wait until about 8 weeks or so before the end of the year. And then you'll really get serious about it, because you want to commit, you want to get it done and achieved before. So as you're thinking about setting goals, make sure you make them time bound and hold yourself to it. Tomorrow is not a time bound goal, because tomorrow never comes. And one of the things I learned in hypnotherapy school, our subconscious mind is very literal. And let's pretend that it is Sunday, and my goal is I am going to start working out tomorrow, with the full intention that Monday, because it's our cultural start of the week, is when I'm going to start this journey. What my subconscious mind heard was tomorrow. Monday rolls around, I'm going to do it tomorrow. That becomes Tuesday, becomes Wednesday. So always make it time bound. And December 2019 is not time bound. Pick a day. There's 31 days in December. Pick a day, pick the year, note it as a point in time to hold yourself accountable to.
Oh, I like that. I do talk about clarity a lot. It's really easy to be subtle. I think that goes with, sometimes I want to be gentle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And subtle, I don't want to push too hard. I don't want to pull too hard, especially when I'm talking about my interactions with other people, right? And it's also relevant for me. But I have goals. You have goals. Heck, frankly, if you're watching this, you've got goals. So that clarity of what's the date that I want to have this accomplished by. And then also probably specific numbers. I've been working on a goal of, I've called it our doublemint campaign. The idea was that we would double the number of members and chapters by December 31st, 2019. But what I realized just in this conversation is I really didn't put a number on that.
Mm-hmm.
Just said, let's double. So we've still got a few weeks to go. Who knows? But now that I'm sitting here, I'm going, let me also put specific numbers on what does that mean.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a couple of past vision boards that you've done this way.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show them to us?
Yeah, I can. Let me go into a screen share here and share the screen. Go ahead. Oh, there we go. There's the button. Okay, let's go into this. And what I use, we get into the kind of the nuts and bolts of this process. Two websites that you want to look at. The first one is Pixabay, Pixabay. It is a stock photography site that is free. That wonderful four-letter word known as free. So free, royalty free. You don't have to go to iStock, Shutterstock, any of the other stocks and pay 12 bucks a shot. This is all free. You don't need to give attribution. It's good to go. All keywords searchable. So maybe your thing is joy and happiness. You type it in and you search and look at that. Wonderful joy and happiness pictures. And you scroll through and find the picture that works best for you. Really great stuff. I mean, this is fantastic photography. And how many, we have how many? 39 pages of joy and happiness photos, and you saw how many were in that list. So depending on what you're looking for, there are going to be 25, 30, hundreds of photos. Download them, save them. I highly suggest creating a folder on your desktop that says Vision Board and save them to that folder so they're easy to find. That way, when you go to build your vision board, you're not searching in downloads. Otherwise, they will be lost in your downloads folder. The other site that then where we build the vision boards is a site called Canva, Canva. Canva is a builder website. So what happens when you and this again, free. Create your profile. You'll come up with a entry page here where it says create a design. When you click on create a design, custom dimensions, there's a number here that are already predetermined, but custom dimensions is the best. First step, the default unit of measure in Canva is pixels because it's meant for electronic work. Change it to inches. And this is all in the PDF that I have for you guys. I just want to give some notes. And then 17 by 11 is the suggested 17 by 11. And the reason for that is a 17 by 11 or 11 by 17 will go through any color printer at any Staples, Office Depot, where we have our wonderful discount as members of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And you'll get it. You can print your vision board if that's what you choose to do. The reason I say 17 by 11 is this orientation. It's landscape. 11 by 17 would be a portrait orientation. Do it whichever way you want. Just be aware that width was first. And what will happen when you populate it, you'll come up with, as soon as it fully loads, essentially a white sheet of paper, a white sheet of electronic paper on a gray background. Upload your photos that you'd like to populate in. And then once you're there, once you put on that photo, you have full control over it. You can crop it. You can scale it. You can change it, really pull in the focus just on that heart. You have absolute, complete control over your placement. You have type. You can add a heading, add a word, and just type in whatever the meaningful words are for you here. Maybe it's manifest. You have complete control over the type. It'll come in as a default, but you can change it to any font here. And there are literally hundreds of fonts in Canva. Complete control over the size. And this little thing here, complete control over the color. Go through all the range, full range of color from red to pink to black to white. And it allows you.
I have to ask you a question. Because I don't know about anybody else on this call, but I sometimes get stopped by having too many choices.
Okay.
There's the whole, I get a little bit overwhelmed. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. Not that there are any butterfly chasers in this particular part of the world, but, do you have any suggestions for kind of?
Yeah, the nice thing here is dial in on one, do what feels right. And the cool thing about this, I've got to move my little board here out of the way. This little icon right here, the copy page, if you do one and you're kind of thinking, I kind of like that design, but I'm not sure, I think I can make it better. I'm really scared I'm going to screw it up. Guess what? You don't have to tear it apart. Duplicate it. Now you've got a baseline of your old, and you can go in and change this however you want to change it, and you don't affect anything else on your original board. If you make it better, great, delete the old one. If you screw it up, great, delete it and go back to the old one. Not a problem. So as you get through this process, and there's also elements here, shapes that you can add. If yours is a circle, as Camille's was, you can add a circle element, and again, full control over the color of that. And the details of this, again, are all in the PDF. So my original vision board that I created this way is this board. All the graphic elements. So for me, scuba diving, I'm a scuba diving instructor too. It's a huge part of my life. But if I were to go traditional method, trying to find a picture of a scuba diver in a traditional magazine, it's going to be about the size of a quarter. That is not how it represents in my life. I want it to be a quarter of my vision board, not the size of a quarter. So I find that picture on Pixabay. I can make it as big as I want. The phrase, I am grateful, giving, and open to receiving, I am not going to find that in any one magazine ever, anywhere in the world. So I have to start cutting and pasting from a variety of magazines. And now the core message of my vision board looks like it came out of a hostage note. That is not the vision for my life. So doing it this way allows you to get focused. If you want to use all the same font, you can. If you want to call out things using different typefaces, you can. You can change colors and just layer everything out. New images always lay on top, and you've got to control where it says position up here, where you can put things forward or backwards. Just go in and play with it. You really can't screw it up. It's not like in the old way when you glued something down, right. You were stuck with it there, literally. Now you can move things about if it feels like it should be more on the left or the right. And out of this board, when I made it 2 years ago, pretty much everything except for this healthy, I'm healthy, I'm just not fit. So everything has kind of come into position. I've got the best-selling books. I am going around the country teaching life coaching. My business has grown 500% in 18 and another 200% this year. Things just keep shifting in this. And now as I looked at this, the energy of this board is moving out, and I'm moving into a new vision board. The board for 2020 is this one. This is the logo I created in Canva for the retreats in Peru, with the little marker there in the Sacred Valley. My goal is to change 24 lives. There's another version of this that has the number, the money number that I want to see out of it. That Rockstar Energy found all these great images of rock concerts. There's a picture of Daniel Gutierrez with the local shaman, the children in Peru, the shops in Peru, and of course, Machu Picchu. But my vision for 2020 is Rockstar Energy and manifesting a global presence and being excited, happy, and energized doing it, because that is an important part of vision boarding too, that tends not to get discussed. It's also an important part of goal setting. We've probably all heard about SMART goals, make them, relevant, achievable, time-bound, all these things. But that to me is like a checklist. It bores me to tears. Why is it important that you want it? Strongest emotion always wins. So it's not just about having financial abundance. What does financial abundance do for you, and how will you feel when those credit cards are paid off and you have money in the bank? How will it feel when you have that successful business where you're seeing X number of clients a month and earning what that number is? We don't manifest from here, we manifest from here. Manifest from the heart and the throat. You speak it into reality and the emotion drives it forward. So think about beyond just, I see the picture of where I'll be, my successful future self on December 31st, 2020. As you vision and think about that person, how does it make you feel to see them there and see yourself in that successful energy? Because emotion is going to be the driver. That's the thing that will carry you through. Maybe for me, we'll go back to me beating myself up a little bit. For me, I've never connected emotionally to being in that place of being in great shape again. I was there years ago. I'm not emotionally connected. So for me right now, when I walk into Whole Foods, I'm grabbing pizza, because that pizza gives me a better momentary feeling in the moment than the idea of I've got to go to the gym and work out. No. But if I was more connected to my vision of the really very healthy, very fit me, the pizza would not have the control that I allow it to have.
I'm going to skip right over your comments about pizza because, we all have our comfort foods.
Absolutely. And there's a time and place for it.
Yes, correct. And it's great that there are stores and restaurants now that really allow us to justify those choices. And the reality is pizza is pizza. I mean, I guess some are a little healthier than others, but
by definition, Whole Foods pizza has to be healthier than anybody else's because it's Whole Foods pizza.
Right, yes.
And that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, you go right ahead. I want to point out, because I think one of the lovely things about this is, some of us have logos, but mostly our logos are not on these old-fashioned collage vision boards. And with something like this, you can put your logo on it. You can put photos of yourself in front of an audience, right? Not just photos of other people, and sometimes those are still useful, but I think it gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of personalizing not just the vision from here, but also the vision that we're now looking at because we've created something like this, which is so great and really powerful.
Absolutely. And the other thing, I'm going to go back to that share really quick because that brings up the other side of this that I didn't show yet, is that we mentioned that set it up at 11 by 17. When you're ready to save your vision board, this little download arrow right here will default to an image file, a PNG or a JPEG. If you save your vision board as a PNG or a JPEG, you can make it the desktop on your computer or even the screensaver on your phone. Nice. If you're going to actually print it and take it out to Office Depot, you can go and download it as a PDF print and you'll get a really nice high resolution print coming out of it. So again, flexibility or in how you use it. It doesn't have to be on a wall. If you want to print and hang it, that is absolutely possible and viable. But like I was telling Camille at the beginning of the call, when I did this originally, a year and a half, 2 years ago, as I'm getting ready to walk out the door and print it, I'm in my head thinking, why am I even doing this? I don't look at my prior board. It's on a bookshelf out of my view. And as I'm walking out the door with the jump drive, it's like, you can save it as an electronic file. It's now the screensaver on my computer and on my phone. And I see it all the time to constantly remind me of my vision, which is the purpose for doing this exercise to begin with.
Well, I do have, I have a physical bulletin board, right, in the office. So this baby is up on my physical bulletin board.
Excellent.
And at the same time, I really want to, because I want a powerful 2020. Mm-hmm. And I think the more I have talk about having your vision at your fingertips. This is it, right? So I like that this also gives me the option to do it both ways, to have the hard copy that when I wake up or when I walk into the office, I see where I want to be headed. And whether I'm at home or traveling or, at a meeting with friends, I can, pull it up and go, this is the direction I want to. Oh, what do I do here? Do I say yes or no? Look at my vision and go, this either supports or it distracts from. Because that's how we get our goals, is we stay supported. That, frankly, and I didn't know this when I started the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, but I'm realizing it now, that one of the things that gives us our secret sauce is that at our, chapter meetings, we get that support. Mm-hmm. That, let's talk about ideas or different ways to do that thing you want to do, or just all the different ways there are to be supported in building a business, making whatever we're doing more financially sustainable, profitable even. Oh my gosh, imagine that. Looking at our words so that our words really support the direction we're headed and the big visions we're creating. So I have a couple of other questions here.
Sure.
They're related and but not quite as direct. So our businesses are growing. And one of the things that comes up for me a lot as things get bigger is some days it's like, I need to save time. Other days I feel like I need to save money. Some days it's just, no, I don't need to save money, but I sure do need to make it. It does feel like a dance. How do I juggle? How do I balance these? What for you tends to be the override on that? Because this is going to take me a little bit of time to put together. Mm-hmm. And I know it's a worthwhile use of my time, but I'm already like, okay, I've got to figure out where to carve out the time to create the vision for something that's probably going to keep me busier in some ways. I'll have to make sure I put resort vacation on my vision board.
Absolutely. You notice travel was on my earlier one. I think we took 5 vacations last year. And that was funny because I was very much resistant because my wife in her corporate job, she gets 5 weeks of paid vacation a year. And she proudly says, I take every one of them, as she should. For me as an entrepreneur, it's like, if I'm gone, I can't. Right. And we were on vacation in Italy in October. And my money myth was busted during that vacation. I had a client reach out to me. We had been in contact a couple weeks prior. She'd asked me to send her rates so that we could get things set up. And she followed up with an email saying, okay, I want to buy 18 weeks worth of work. How do I pay for that? I'll send you an invoice in a half an hour. The next day, I had $1,800 in my bank account while I was on vacation, and the money myth was busted. So getting into that space of finding time, clearing time, I can answer it a couple different ways. The first one is you got to take care of yourself first, and you have to set the vision, because if you don't plan to succeed, you are planning to fail. And I know there's some way that those two words get used. Fail to plan is planning to fail, whatever. My mild dyslexia gets in the way of me saying that properly every time. But if you don't take this time for yourself and carve it out, you will just be it's like the person who goes in and shuffles papers every day at work, and they're the bestest ever paper shuffler in their business. If they don't declare the intention of wanting to do something else, or taking over that department, or stepping into an entrepreneurial method of shuffling paper and outsourcing it, they will just continue to be dissatisfied, because if all you're ever doing is the shuffling, you don't open up the space for anything else or declare the intention moving forward. You have to find the time for yourself, and it's a form of self-care. It may feel, and I know it. There are times when I say, I got to get out and make money. I've got to do some things for advertising. That's the short term. Right here is planning for the long term, and there is a balance in doing both. And it doesn't mean you have to carve out 2 or 3 hours today. Maybe it's a half an hour today just to get your Canva account set up. And then maybe a half an hour tomorrow to look for pictures. This doesn't have to happen in 5 minutes. Take some time and compartmentalize days for 3 days or a week, and slowly build it. Because as you're building that vision and getting an opening to the idea of it, more things will come in and embellish the details of that vision. So really, it's a better process to give yourself some time to put this together. Again, make it time bound, otherwise it will drag on for infinity. But say by the end of the week, I'm going to have a really solid first draft. Great, do it, and then go back and look at it. What would you change about it? One doesn't have to preclude the other. They're absolutely, during business hours, we have to be out either seeing clients or doing the things that are going to bring in those next clients. But if you don't declare your intention for what you want to get out of the next year, you're not going to get anything out of the next year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't really realize how much I had declared travel as one of my goals for this past year, but I just sat down the other day and started looking at what my travel and evolution has been over the course of the last year. And I went, I'm going to have to relook at this because I got a lot of travel. It was all very, very good. And now that I'm back at home in my home base, I'm like, oh, this is good to, like evolution, change,
Mm-hmm.
having that vision for what I want. It really is helpful. And I think you're right. It is part of our self-care. So we're just about at the end of our time together. You've mentioned a PDF. I've seen that PDF. It's really great, by the way. I was thinking it was going to be, a short little all about, frankly, I get a lot of PDFs that are all about me PDFs. And yours wasn't. It was like big and juicy and had here's the click here and the click there. So tell us a little bit more about it. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of a how-to.
Yeah. It breaks down what the process that I was showing you guys on screen a little while ago, where I was in my Canva account showing you the vision boards. It's the step-by-step process of how to build yours. The why in the beginning, but then getting into those two websites and walking you through Canva to show you how to find the tools, find the graphic elements, how to change colors, so you can build your version. And the other thing I'll say out of this, for those of you who are in the professions where you are helping clients to determine their vision for life, steal this idea. Get really good at doing it for yourself to the point where you could teach a class like I'm showing you guys today. I teach this class and I go in depth with it and walk through that. Steal the idea. Learn to do it yourself and then take it out and help other people declare this vision. I do not hold any proprietary rights to this. It was a mind-blowing thing that I came up with for me, and I want to share it to everybody else to take the limitations off of it. You don't have to carry around 3 tons of magazines anymore. Do it this way. It's so much easier.
Oh, I have a different idea with that. Also good, but it's for an upsell.
Mm-hmm.
Some of your clients and customers really don't want the how-to. But if you've just spent an hour or 2 hours with them, helping them align their soul, create their vision, then you can, once you've got this dialed in as a process, you can then do if you would like a personalized vision board created for you, I can do that, and it's only, and you've got to figure out what price is right for that. But it's a way to take what you're already doing and provide an extra layer of service.
And the other way to look at it, the other way to upsell this is, say you do that class, and maybe it's a free class or maybe it's a meetup that you go out and do. Have a flyer there. As they're leaving, you are on the path now to creating your vision for the next year. I am here to help you achieve it. Sign up tonight and get X% off of coaching or hypnotherapy services. Right. So always do the upsell. Absolutely.
It's just good to be in a financial position to choose your life. Some of us are choosing to take care of ourselves and also others, and money really facilitates that. It's not the answer to everything. Money does not buy compassion. It does not buy love. Doesn't buy happiness, and at the same time does buy a cup of coffee, and sometimes that's gonna get me to my happiness, or it's gonna let me enjoy my loving friendship with a friend or somebody like that. So that's why we talk about these things. How do people get their gift PDF?
Easiest way is send me an email, and that's Daniel at Olexa, OLEXA.com. and I will be happy to send that out. Maybe we even make it available through the HCC. I'll be happy to share it with Camille. Actually, you already have it, so if you want to,
yes.
yeah.
And we're sending the video of this to all of our members, so it will be included in that email.
Yep, and we just got a chat bump, so I'm going to type my email
That's a
into
good
the chat.
idea.
Make sure I spelled it right, because that would be really embarrassing. Yes, there we go. Okay.
And that does also mean that Daniel's website is danielolexa.com. So you can also go to his website if you're interested in his other products and services, and a Vision 2020 trip to Sacred Valley in Peru. So many opportunities to really create the life of your dreams, to enter this next year and this new decade in a more powerful position than the past. Let's create, let's co-create, let's be.
Yep. Go out and be seen for who you are, and own who you are.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.